May 30th, 1845. The Fat Al Razak docks just outside the old lighthouse at South Key, Port of Spain. Below its decks, 227 immigrants are gathered. They are the first group of East Indian indentured laborers to land upon the shores of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. They have left their homeland half a world away and braved treacherous seas in search of a better life. Little do they know that their journey from the rural villages of India to the cane fields of South and Central Trinidad would save a fledgling industry brought to its knees after the abolition of slavery and forever change the history of our nation.
Slavery came to an end in the British colonies in 1838. So when the Africans were freed, they abandoned the plantations throughout the Caribbean. Planters in the Caribbean, throughout the Caribbean, brought a number of other people. They brought Chinese, for example, from China and put them to work on the plantations. They brought Portuguese and tried to work them on the plantations. So when all these experiments at replacing this labor void had completely failed, they went to India. And between 1838 and 1917, they brought 500,000 Indians, and these Indians were either called coolies or they were called girmitias. Girmitias from the Hindi word girmit, an agreement. So these girmitias are people who had signed an agreement.
However, the agreement forged between the British and the Indians were made under false pretenses. Indentured laborers were fooled into believing they were being sent to a land of opportunity, paved with the sweet nectar of sugar cane. The notion of life in a new world came as a relief to many Indians, pushed to the brink of death by the British, who destroyed fertile farmlands in India in order to supply the world demand for opium at that time.
Because of the way in which the imperialists ravaged India for their own profit and neglected essential works of irrigation and flood control, or letting people produce the things that they needed for their own sustenance, or letting the textile industry thrive, all of these things were brutally suppressed. And therefore there was large-scale famine, there was large-scale displacement, putting people out of their land, out of their occupation. And in this kind of desperate situation, what could the Indians do? But take a boat, take a gari, that is a horse-drawn carriage, come down to Calcutta and indenture themselves to go, well, wherever life appeared to be better.
The British also employed agents called arcutias to recruit potential indentured laborers. These agents traveled from village to village with tales of Trinidad, a land of sugar, where, as if by magic, fields of cane were laden with the sweet, brown crystals and the bounty which could be theirs. With the promise of a better life, Indians left their villages throughout India and headed to Calcutta. There, at the coolie depots, Indian men, women, and children signed away their lives to the British and boarded ships bound for the West Indies.